Welcome to Strength Side. Today we're going to talk about glute bridges. The glute bridge is an awesome exercise and we see a lot of people do them and it's great, but we need to make sure we're doing them right so they have carryover into other movements. So first we need to make sure that you are in position, and then secondly we need to actually make sure that those glutes are activating, because a lot of times you'll do a glute bridge and you won't actually get full activation from the glutes. So we'll talk about how to do a correct glute bridge, and then we'll talk about some progressions to actually make it a little more difficult, more challenging, to get a little more progression out of the bridge. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get Josh into a bridge position. His feet are flat on the floor. We have 3 points of contact here: big toe, pinky toe, and heel. We want to keep that the same the entire time we're doing the bridge. A lot of times you'll see people's toes come off the ground, they'll shoot up on their heels, or vice versa, their heels will come off, try and push to their toes. Just make sure all points of contact are there. So the position that we're avoiding is this flared rib, anterior pelvic tilted position that, we can just get a whole entire hand under here. That's what we're avoiding, because this has no carryover into what we want to do outside of the glute bridge. Any movement outside, we want to be braced. So what we're going to do is posteriorly tilt the hips, get these abs active, ribs down. Josh's abs are really active here, and you can't get a hand under. That's the key. Okay? So from here, we're going to have him drive through his middle of his foot, lifting the hips off, and we're just going to have them hold. A lot of times we'll do glute bridges for reps. That's awesome. But when we're learning how to do it, we need to find that top position. So once he's in this position, we're actually going to even regain that posterior tilt. Because even though he knows what he's doing, he's still lifted and anterior pelvic tilted. So we're going to posterior pelvic tilt. Now what you'll find is you might not be able to get quite as high into the bridge as you normally do. That's okay. That's fine. It's because you're actually in the correct position. So the limiting factor is your hip extension. And hip extension, most people won't be able to get past 180 degrees. That's fine. Okay? So right here, he's even less than 180.
So if I go here until I can get all the way up there, that's what we're not looking for, right?
Yeah, so we're avoiding letting those hips get too high. So if you're way above 180 degrees, you're probably in the wrong position. So now I'm sure he's probably already burning inside of his glutes.
Yeah.
So that means we're in the right position. Okay? So then we can go ahead and do these for reps once we've found that position. But I do recommend holding it. If you're unsure, hold it. Don't even do reps. Hold it for 30 seconds, a minute. Find that activation inside the glute. Chase it, and you'll know when you get it. Okay, now let's start to progress the bridge. So what we're going to have him do now is actually pull this leg all the way into as much flexion as we can. Make sure when we go one leg, the biggest thing we'll see wrong here is this knee will dive out. So make sure this knee stays in line with the feet. So what we're doing here is actually manually putting him into a posterior tilt. And we're challenging him to be able to do this on one leg. Okay? Good. So we can hold it to make sure you're in the right position. And then once you feel like you're in the right position, you can start to do some reps. Next stage after this, if you're feeling comfortable with that, that's easy. Now we can let go. And we'll challenge him to actively pull this knee back. So now we're actually having to get recruitment from his abs, his hip flexors, all while getting that recruitment from the glute, getting full hip extension. Okay? And the last and final progression here, we're actually going to bring this opposite arm, get this elbow to touch across. So we're actually putting this hip into internal rotation here. Okay? So we're challenging his internal rotation while extending through that hip. Okay? This is going to be very challenging. Good luck with it. Okay? So that's the video. We'll see you in the next one.